First things first, this is not TCM's new set. I just want to make that clear to people.
We didn't get Barbie everywhere.
No, we didn't. So you are a genuine classic movie lover. So you sent us a list of movies that inspired Barbie. The Wizard of Oz, The Godfather, Saturday Night Fever, Singing in the Rain, Close Encounters, Heaven Can Wait, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, 2001, All That Jazz, His Girl Friday, Mon Oncle, make sure I got it right, Umbrellas of Cherbourg, Matter of Life and Death, The Earrings of Madame de, Max Ophuls, The Red Shoes, Oklahoma, Splash, An American in Paris, Wings of Desire, Grease, The Ladies' Man, Jerry Lewis, and The Ship Sails On, Fellini, Rear Window, The Truman Show, Gold Diggers of 1935, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Modern Times, and The Philadelphia Story.
Yes, it's an eclectic list.
Some of those, as you watch Barbie, there are definite little moments where you see, like, oh, look at that. That was taken from this or inspired by this. A lot of plastic ocean, like you drew from, that comes from the Fellini film.
Yeah. No, there's little bits taken from all of it. I mean, I really find as a filmmaker, I love watching films. I watch them all the time. Most of those films, I showed the cast and crew at screenings every Sunday while we were making the movie.
Many of these films while you're making Barbie.
Yeah, while we were making the movie, because I think it's important to continually engage in, for me, in the history of movies and cinema, because it's just for me, it's always a reminder of, like, movies can be anything, can be everything. There are so many ways this art form has been expressed and reinvented. And anytime I find myself getting a little narrow in my thinking, I watch something and I feel, by a great director, and I feel like, oh, get out of your own way. There are every one of these people are both, responding to film history and then also inventing again.
What about the Philadelphia Story speaks to you? I'm going to guess this answer is going to involve Katharine Hepburn.
It does, yes, of course. George Cukor is one of my deep favorites. George Cukor, Howard Hawks, Ernst Lubitsch, Preston Sturges, like these directors are the directors that I feel just immediately cozy with as soon as their movies are on. I feel taken care of. There's something about them, and they're elegant and they're simple and they're character-driven, dialogue-driven, and they're not. There's some way that they unfold where I feel that I know exactly how to watch them at every moment. They teach you how to do it, and I think for me, Philadelphia Story, when Margot and I started working on the movie, because this character of Barbie that's this doll, it's so literally plastic, but then as the movie goes on, falls apart rather beautifully and kind of finds herself in this falling apartness. Katharine Hepburn's performance of being, I think she describes herself as a Grecian statue at the beginning. She's so perfect. And then as she falls apart, she just gets more and more interesting and more compelling. And she fights the breakdown. And I think that is something that I wanted to Margot to bring to the film.
Katharine Hepburn obviously means something to you. I mean, your second feature that you directed on your own, right? Little Women. Yes. Hepburn made it in 1933. I know.
Also with George Cukor.
Also with George Cukor. I know you came on the air earlier at TCM to talk about those two films. Did the 33 version speak to you more than the 49 version? I'm not looking to you to denigrate one. I'm just curious.
Yes, I would say the 33 version spoke to me more. I mean, for me, I don't know. Katharine Hepburn occupies like a particular place in my emotional life in watching films, because as much as like any actor has been an auteur in a way, she is that. She created almost her own language and almost an invention of a kind of female character. And I find for me, whether it's Little Women or the Philadelphia Story, she both finds the characters and the deep granular differences between them, but there's something about the way she moves through the screen that feels just like she's just a burst of modernity. And I'm not the only one, but I love it.
I watched her do an interview with Dick Cavett. You can watch it on YouTube, and she's wearing she's wearing pants,
Yeah.
right? That's her. But even at her age, at that point, right, she just sits on a chair like that and sits cross-legged, bring her legs up. She was just like, I rarely have seen a star, particularly a woman, judged in a totally different way, more at ease with who she was.
Yes, and I think that her in Bringing Up Baby is the most outrageous, wonderful performance. I mean, when I think about the two of them traipsing around the woods looking for that leopard, the kind of acting that she was able to do, where she could be completely elevated but also be grounded at the same time, which is something I talked a lot to Margot and Ryan about. And another person who does that incredibly well is Carol Lombard. They can get almost pitchy in their voices, and it's never annoying. They can be at a 10 and it's still the most watchable human thing. And there was a sort of elevated tone in Barbie, and I thought that actually for the actors, the best place to look what was like the Katharine Hepburns and the Carol Lombards and the John Barrymores, and that was where I was like, I think those are the kind of performances that you want to be looking at to make this make sense, because they were able to do big, bold things without ever losing the audience.
If you could cast any star from Hollywood's golden age in a Barbie adaptation, I guess male or female, who do you go with?
Carol Lombard. That's my girl.
I knew you were going to say Carol Lombard.
That's her.
I suspect TCM fans initially be like, I'm not going to see Barbie, but I'm telling them that is there's something there for
There's
them.
something there for them.
Definitely, no
for
question.
Sure. They'll know more than anyone else will know about what's there for them.
That's right.
They'll see it and they'll be like, I know this, I know that. They'll know it.
You sent us a list of 28 films that inspired Barbie. We read them. I won't read them again, but one of them, so again, and many of those are films dear to TCM fans. The Red Shoes, which very clearly, along with The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, played a significant role in Barbie's inspiration. What does that movie, the Powell Pressburger film, 1948, The Red Shoes, mean to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, Powell and Pressburger occupy a particular place in my imagination because they had such a unique cinematic language that was all their own. There was something incredibly theatrical about their films, but unlike anything else. And I mean, The Red Shoes and also A Matter of Life and Death were two movies
on
that
your
also
list?
on my list.
Yeah.
That they would do these kind of ingenious scenic builds that were handmade and in camera and simple but pretty incredible. I mean, I'm thinking of those in Matter of Life and Death, they had those big holes where they'd look through in heaven, or the beautiful matte painting of the stairs leading all the way up, or even in the beginning of the film, there were different lights that were flashing on her face while she's talking to the pilot. There's all these like beautiful images, that kind of inventiveness that you can see, and just the cleverness of how they were approaching everything and how they were willing to break and reinvent any quote unquote rule that movies had. And I think in The Red Shoes in particular, when we go into basically the interior of the ballet and we watch this ballet unfold in front of us, and the way that the stage becomes the whole frame, that whole sequence is so stunning, and the color is extraordinary and the choreography is extraordinary. But I think what is so interesting to me is when we were making Barbie, we kept using this catchphrase, we want it to be authentically artificial. And I think the Red Shoes really captures this feeling of authentic artificiality. And certainly in that sequence it does. But also throughout the movie, there's a scene where the two main characters, the lovers, are talking, and they're standing on a balcony overlooking the sea, and it's a painted backdrop. And actually, Rodrigo Prieto and I, he shot Barbie, we looked at that and we were like, but they covered the scene and they just moved the backdrop. You can just see they moved the backdrop from one side and then they moved it to the other side. And it's so beautiful and it works. But it's handmade, they just had to physically move it. And so we were talking about moving things around. And then they would use things like, that beautiful shot of her ascending the stairs, which I mimicked when Barbie walks up to Kate McKinnon's house. And then the ballet director, when he's in the train at the end, is wearing these amazing cat-eye glasses, which I gave to Ryan actually to wear as Ken.
Yes,
and he wears the cat-eye glasses that we based off of it. So there's lots of little Easter eggs of the Red Shoes in it. But I just... there's something exuberant about Powell and Pressburger's joy of making. It feels like, well, why don't we try it like this? Let's make it like this. It feels like it gets at the heart of what I was hoping for with Barbie, which is that it is, at its heart, it's play. And that it has that play of cinema that I love.
You fully embrace the artificiality of the setting, like, and without, without shame, right? Like, boldly.
Yes. It was something where we wanted to, I wanted it to feel like what we had control of was about 20 sound stages, and that we built everything twice. We built it miniature and photographed it, and then we built it large and photographed it, so that we had kind of a sense of distortion of scale. And we didn't end up having 20 sound stages, but we did have a lot of sound stages, and we did build everything in miniature and built quite a bit of it large too. And we always asked ourselves, me, the DP, the production designer, everyone, we'd say, how would they do this in 1959? Like, if we were making it in 1959, would we use, front projection, rear projection? How would we composite this shot? What would be the thing that we would use then? Because to me, it was like I wanted to give myself the constraints of what a movie world is, and it was that whatever Barbie Land was a soundstage that had a lid, it had an edge, and we looked at different versions of the designs too, where we would see a corner join at the edge of a stage, because I wanted that sense of being contained in a box. There's so many examples in The Red Shoes where you both feel the edge of what the painting is, but then you can also see the illusion of depth that it creates. And that was that kind of juxtaposition that I was interested in.
You've created this alternate world of Barbie. When you watch these movies, these classic movies that are so dear to you, is there anyone where you've imagined yourself in that world, where you could see yourself living in the world of a classic film?
Oh, that's so interesting. Gene Kelly is really one of my favorites. Singing in the Rain, which I have on my list, but American in Paris, those two, if I could be anywhere, it's in the American in Paris apartment that he has at the beginning, where everything, the Murphy bed and everything folds out of each other. Yeah, and Singing in the Rain, where Don Lockwood meets Kathy Selden at the big party for the Hollywood guy. Like, it's just so, I think probably that would be the thing that if I could just live inside one, it would be that one.
Last question, and because you didn't even include this on your list of 28 movies you gave to us, but like in another article, like you listed 12 movies people should see, and it included 2 Howard Hawks, John Wayne movies, right? Yes. Rio Bravo and Red River.
Yes, yes.
Like you have a John Wayne thing.
Yes, well, I think I'm very interested in these sort of people who move through movies as their own cinema. And I think he has that as well. Like we were talking about Katharine Hepburn before. And yeah, Howard Hawks, as a person who, both alone and with Noah, we write really wordy movies. And I think Howard Hawks has always made me feel safe because he's so cinematic, but he also loves the language of cinema and language. And I think that kind of he's always made me feel comforted within movies, because I thought, well, Howard Hawks liked words, so I feel maybe I'm allowed to like words as much as I do.
Yeah, well, you guys do words incredibly effectively. That's what I care about. I come from writers. So,
yes.
Greta, this has been a pleasure. Congrats on
Thank
Barbie
you.
Out in theaters now. I'm telling TCM fans it is worth their time. They will not regret it.
They can play a drinking game with it. They'll know.
That's right. Oh,
we can give them a list.
They're going to have to Uber home. But
Take
yes,
it,
they can play.
No,
if you play a drinking game with Barbie,
Take a shot every time you see a TCM movie. The reference. It'll be a lot. We didn't even get to Dr. Strangelove, but anyway.
It's not on the list, Greta.
It's not on the list. It's not on the, well, it's there. Don't worry.